Let's talk about one of the wildest and most controversial YouTube scandals in family vlogging history. One that shook the internet to its core and basically ended a couple's entire online career. The year was 2017, and Micah Storfer was one of many mommy vloggers dominating YouTube. She lived in Ohio with her husband James and their 3 biological children. Their channel was doing well, like hundreds of thousands of subscribers well. The content mostly revolved around parenting, daily routines, home life, and of course, the kids. It was typical wholesome family vlog stuff. But then they made a big decision that would change everything. Micah and James announced they were planning to adopt a child from China. At first, James wasn't completely on board. They already had 3 kids, and adding a 4th, especially through international adoption, was a huge step. But after doing some research, and probably seeing potential for some touching family journey content, he agreed. Now here's the thing. At the time, Chinese adoption agencies required foreign adoptive parents to adopt special needs children. That means any child available for international adoption had to have some kind of medical condition, often serious. But that didn't deter Micah. In fact, she said it made her feel even more strongly that this was their son. They were shown a photo of a small Chinese boy, just 2.5 years old, his eyes wide and curious, his expression calm but distant. The agency explained he'd had a brain tumor and now lived with some level of brain damage, affecting his development. But instead of turning away, they felt even more drawn to him. The diagnosis didn't shake their resolve. It deepened it. Micah even said in one video, "This new diagnosis didn't scare us. If anything, it kind of solidified that this is more our son than he has ever been." From that moment, they began documenting everything on YouTube. And not just highlights, they vlogged every single detail, posting more than 24 videos. They shared the challenges, the financial stress, the emotional weight. On camera, they cried, they questioned, they prayed, all while thousands of strangers watched their journey unfold. Micah even set up a GoFundMe to help raise money for the adoption, calling it a fundraiser for little Huxley. They wanted to share their journey with their followers and hoped to get support for the expensive process. After months of waiting, Micah and James finally flew to China to meet Huxley in person and bring him home. Once he arrived, Huxley quickly became part of their family and their videos. They didn't just keep him behind the scenes. They featured him in almost every vlog. His face was on their video thumbnails. He appeared in brand-sponsored content, and his story was often shared to inspire others and grow their audience. But almost right away, Micah and James started to realize things weren't as easy as they thought. Huxley had intense needs they hadn't fully expected. He had frequent meltdowns that were hard to handle, and he sometimes bit or pinched them. There were also moments when he would bang his head against the wall, showing signs of frustration and pain. It was clear his challenges were much bigger than they had prepared for. These weren't symptoms of a brain tumor. Eventually, doctors re-evaluated him and gave him a new diagnosis, level 3 autism, the most severe form of autism. This meant that Huxley would require lifelong support and care. Now, to be fair, that's an incredibly heavy burden for any family, especially one already juggling 3 other kids and a growing online presence. But this wasn't something they weren't warned about. Doctors had told them early on that this adoption would likely be one of the hardest things they'd ever do. Micah herself admitted that she didn't really process the warnings at the time. She said it kind of went in one ear and out the other. Still, she made one statement that would eventually come back to haunt her. She once said in a vlog, "My child is not returnable." That quote would take on a whole new meaning just a few years later. Fast forward to 2019, and things start to change in a quiet but noticeable way. Huxley, who had once been the star of almost every video, began to fade from their content. Slowly but surely, he stopped appearing on camera. The couple also stopped sharing updates about him on their social media accounts. At the same time, Micah and James announced they were expecting another baby, and all the attention shifted to preparing for and celebrating the new arrival. Their fans, who had followed every step of Huxley's journey, began to notice a change. People started asking questions online. Where's Huxley? Why haven't we seen him in so long? For months, the couple stayed silent, offering no answers. Then, in May 2020, After months of silence and growing concern from their followers, Micah and James finally posted a serious, quiet video titled something like an update on our family. In the video, they finally revealed the truth. After 2 years of trying, they had decided to rehome Huxley. They said raising a child with such intense needs had become too difficult, and that with the help of professionals, they had placed him with a new family who was better equipped to care for him. They said it was the hardest decision they'd ever made, and they claimed they hadn't shared it early out of respect for Huxley's privacy. This story might have been sad and painful, and maybe people could have understood if it wasn't for one big problem. There were YouTubers who had made money by sharing this child's life from the very start. The same couple who now said they wanted to keep Huxley's privacy safe had spent years showing his face in videos, using his picture in thumbnails and titles, and raising money through brand deals and fundraisers. Because of this, the reaction from the internet was quick and harsh. Fans and viewers felt betrayed and angry. The backlash was strong and relentless. People began accusing Micah and James of using Huxley like a prop, like he was just something for their videos, not a real child with feelings and needs. Many thought they had only adopted him to get more views and money, and once taking care of him became too hard, they just returned him like an item they didn't want anymore. This idea made a lot of people angry and upset. Even YouTubers who usually avoided drama felt the need to speak up. The story spread beyond YouTube and made its way to news websites and social media news pages. Brands that had worked with Micah and James quickly cut ties to protect their own reputation. Fans who once supported them flooded their videos with angry and disappointed comments, calling them out for what they saw as cruelty. Some viewers were so disturbed by what they believed was neglect or mistreatment that they took serious action. They contacted Child Protective Services, asking them to check on Micah and James' other children. When officials did the wellness checks, they didn't find anything wrong or unsafe, but the fact that people felt this worried showed just how much the internet had turned against the couple. Eventually, Micah posted a long apology on Instagram. She said she was sorry for the pain they caused and that the decision had absolutely broken her. After that, she and James vanished. They deleted most of their content. Their YouTube channel went dark. Their social media accounts were wiped of any trace of Huxley. It was like they disappeared from the internet overnight. As for Huxley, reports later said that he had been adopted by a new family who truly understood his needs, and that he was doing very well in his new home. So in the end, the person who suffered the most, an innocent child caught in the middle of a YouTube scandal, finally found the peace he deserved. This story really makes you think about the line between sharing and oversharing, especially when it involves children. What do you think about Micah and James's choices? Were they wrong to use Huxley's story like that, or was there more going on behind the scenes? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. If you found this video interesting, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more stories like this. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.